What's up, people? It's your boy Slide. In this video, I'm going to talk about the current state of men and women in society. You guys have noticed that there's a big social disconnection between men and women. And these people no longer talk to each other. And when I say they don't talk to each other, what I mean is unless it's business related, women do not want you talking to them. I know most guys on average talk to anybody who talks to them, right? But many women these days do not want any guy talking to them. And that's just the way it is, okay? So I work in downtown Seattle, okay? And I work there from the evening and the nighttime, okay? And, I see all sorts of things. I've seen a lot of things, right? But I want to speak on some things I've noticed. I remember there was a time where you couldn't walk out at night. I'm gonna say around from 12 to 1 a.m. Anything after that, you weren't safe to walk outside at night because there are all sorts of crazy people at nighttime. Okay? But the things I have seen people walking at night. I've seen people just walking around. Some people, working late hours. I've seen everything. But the thing that really gets to me is that I've seen some women just walk down the street by themselves when it's dark. And believe it or not when I say this, but nobody bothers them. Okay? Like nobody bothers them. Because I remember there was a time where guys would approach women because they wanted to date them or get to know who they are. But because of the constant rejection and accusations and negative responses, a lot of guys no longer approach females anymore. They don't. A lot of people would say women are constantly being approached or they're having unwanted attention, all that stuff, right? But to be very honest, I don't think they're being approached because women would never walk out at night by themselves. But if you can find women walking down the street in the downtown area by themselves, no one else, just sometimes two girls or just one girl walking down the street by themselves, that shows you that men have gotten the message that women do not want to be talked to or approached. It makes sense to me. It really does. So all this communication between men and women have finally got what they wanted. They wanted to be left alone. And they got it. And the thing is, I see couples in Seattle. I see them. So it's just what it is. Okay, you see couples. I don't know how they got together. But from what I know, what I've seen, if you see a couple together, most of the time they knew each other from work or through a mutual friend or through some kind of like organization. Okay? It is no longer culturally acceptable to approach a stranger. It's not. It's just the way it is. Okay? You don't approach people anymore. If you approach a stranger in today's society, everyone is going to look at you cross-eyed because it's no longer acceptable. Because if you're at the bus stop, right, you can see, let's just say in this example, you have 4 people at the bus stop. One sitting down, one's on their iPod, one is on their phone, another one just standing there. No one's talking to each other, right? And if you go and start talking to one of them, even though they don't know each other, they will look at you cross-eyed. Like, what does this person want? Do you know that person? Like, why is he talking to you? Like, that's just the way it is nowadays. Because it is culturally unacceptable to talk to strangers. Especially if you're trying to like get a phone number or a date and all that stuff, right? It's unacceptable. And this is what's really going on. So you just can't be yourself out here. Like you cannot be yourself. So these are the things you need to really look out for. Like personally, I really don't care as much as I used to. But these are the things that I'm noticing. I mean, women are walking down the street by themselves at night. I mean, wouldn't they be afraid of being robbed or mugged or any of that stuff? Or they're afraid of some dude approaching them. But yet, no. I guess men have gotten the message to leave women alone. They've gotten the message. You know? And this is what I've seen. And I work at night. So I've seen all sorts of craziness. Okay? I've seen a lot of crazy stuff. So I'm starting to like notice that we are now living in a trend of social disconnection and no need for a communication. Unless you know somebody through somebody or through work or through an organization or a charity event, you're not going to meet anybody new. Because if you meet a girl right now on the bus stop or you meet her in public, there is a 90% chance she will never meet up with you. Never meet up with you. In fact, there's even a lesser chance of her even responding to your messages. Because we live in a different world where people don't want to meet anybody new. They don't want to meet anybody new. So if they don't want to meet anybody new and somebody approaches them, gets their phone number, they're just not going to respond. You know, it's just the way it is. It's just the way it is. And it's crazy to me. It boggles my mind sometimes. You know, when I see couples together, I ask myself sometimes, like, how did they meet? You know? This is summertime. So you see a lot of girls you know, wearing their best. You know what I mean? They wear their shorts, they dress nicer, they have their sunglasses on, they're just walking around. And it's a shame that you can't talk to any of them. It's a big shame because none of them want to meet you or know who you are. They don't really care to know who you are. And you see just people just walking around, you know, plain faces and everything. And it's like you live in a society where there's so many pretty girls walking around, but you can't talk to none of them. You can't. You can't talk to none of them. These are the things you have to be wary of. That's life in the US. Depressing. Depressing. There's so many guys out here who are just frustrated and they can't say anything about it because society will look down on them for even speaking on the topic. Because this is the mindset. They say, well, society will say there are over 1 million or 2 million or how many people in your area. Okay? If one or two girls turn you down, there are plenty of them that will go out with you, or the plenty of them that will want to hang out with you. But I'm telling you guys, that's not the case. That's not the case. You'd be surprised how there are so many females who are single, who won't even give decent guys a chance. That's why guys get upset most of the time. Because they don't even give you a chance. If they give you a chance and things don't work out, that's just normal. But you have girls out here who are single, but they won't give you a chance even though you're single. This is the life you live in America. And I'm telling you guys what I've seen. There's a huge social disconnection out here. There's so many guys out here who just walk around. Like, you can see in their face that they have no social life. Literally, they have no social life. Because many of them work. Some of them do have hobbies. You know what I mean? But that's all they do is work. They work because they have no social life. You know? If the average guy in America had girlfriends on average, they wouldn't work as hard. They wouldn't. They would work their 40 hours a week and they will hang out with their girlfriends. They would. Because what's the point of making all that money if you can't spend it? There's no point. So, yeah, this is the life we live in today. So, anyhow, let me know what you think. Peace.